Hey guys, Gal Level here, and today we're going to be transforming this into this. Now for this tutorial, we're actually going to be using an overlay pack from gumroad.com/gallevel. So it's an overlay pack that I made called Futuristic. Okay, it's one of my most complete overlay packs to date. It includes everything you need for your Twitch channel. But for this particular video, we're only going to go over how to set up your overlays. That means your assembly of scenes and sources for each scene. And of course, we will be using Streamlabs OBS. If you would like to see a tutorial of that type on OBS Studio, please let me know. I can do that too. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So here we are in Streamlabs OBS and the editor panel. So if you already have your overlay set up and you're looking to upgrade, I would advise you going on top of your scene list right here, click manage all, and then create a new scene setup. Okay, that will give you that blank scene and then you can build from there. That being said, keep in mind that everything that we're going to create here, I will create a .overlay file that will be included in the Futuristic overlay pack. So technically, if you're watching this video and you buy that specific overlay pack, you won't have to go through all of this. You can just go to settings, go to scene collections, and then import the overlay file. It will install everything that we're about to do. All right, let's go. So there's a couple of basic scenes and this is what we're going to set up today. Let's rename that scene. We're going to rename it to Starting Soon. I right click, rename Starting Soon. All right. And then in our Starting Soon screen, what we want is our Starting Soon video. The overlay pack is basically video files and image files. So we're going to click that source here. We're going to find media source if we want the animated one. If we didn't want the animated one, we would go with image. But this is a video, so media source. And we're going to type starting overlay. Click add source. Then click browse to find your file. Then in the animated folder, you will find starting soon screen.mp4. We're going to click open. All right. Now here's the thing. Always click loop on those things. See how it ends? You want it to go forever. Boom. And now it will play forever. Technically, that's it. That's your starting soon. If you want to add your own timer or whatever, you can add it here, but that's the base. That's the basics. So now let's add a new scene. I'm going to go on top of the scene the scene source. I'm going to click add new scene on that plus here. Okay. We're going to call this one Be Right Back, for example, right? And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go find my Be Right Back animated scene. So media source, because it's a video. And then here, it's going to say if you want to add an existing source. You don't want that. That's a new source. Add new source instead. Call it BRB overlay. And then find it. So Be Right Back screen right there. Actually, I'm going to change this a little bit so it's more visible in the future. There you go. So Be Right Back screen. Click this. Don't forget to click loop. Boom, it is looping. And you have your Be Right Back scene. Easy clap so far. All right. Same thing for stream ending. Boom, click the plus on top of the source, media source, add new source instead, and type stream ending. Add source, browse, stream ending screen.mp4, loop it. Don't forget to loop it. And boom, stream ending is being looped. Okay, so we added the main scenes. We're going to add an intermission scene. Okay, so now we're getting into stuff where you would want to add your camera and stuff. Okay, so let's go intermission. Also known as webcam scene or whatever. This is where your webcam is going to be full screen-ish. This is in between games in the lobby or when you're doing just chatting. Click done. We're going to add media source again. Intermission overlay. Okay, let's find the intermission overlay here, intermission screen. And this one is a WebM. It is still a video, but this one is WebM because it has transparency in order for you to put your webcam behind it. So click open. Don't forget to loop it. There we go. Okay, cool. Cool. All right. Now, something that you need to know is that in your source list, the order of appearance is the order of the source list. That means that if I put anything on top of intermission overlay in the list, it's going to be on top of it physically in the display, right? Well, let's add a video capture device because this is where your webcam will be. Let's put webcam. When I click here, it will ask you which webcam do you want to use. I do not wish to use my C920. I'm going to use my DSLR. All right. Now, if your webcam has a weird resolution, for example, in my case, I have those 2 black bars. I can hold Alt and crop it, right? Hold Alt and then drag the sides or top and bottom and then crop it, right? Now, what I'm going to do is, as I told you before, see in the list, the webcam is on top of the intermission overlay. You don't want that, right? So let's drag it down. Just click and drag. Boom. And now it's behind it. Okay. Now be careful when you're moving stuff because you might click on the intermission by accident, for example. In order to prevent that, you can lock your layers-ish. Right there, you click on the lock. That means even if I want to click on the intermission overlay, I cannot. All right. So boom, my webcam is here. Now I can place it how I want. I can even drop it how I want in order to fit here. So on the right here, this part is kind of meant to have chat. So let's do that. I'm going to click plus here. And then on the right, I'm going to find the chat box. Okay. And then we're going to format it in order for it to really fit. All right. Something that I like to do is putting this on the side, not shaking it. Something that I like to do is putting this on the side without shaking it. So I can kind of see what the chat box will look like. This is the size of the chat box right now, right? I'm going to go here and place it there. And I'm going to open up my chat by clicking on that little arrow on the left. Oh, it's hard to see, but there is an arrow there, okay? And we're going to type some message and see how it looks. Okay, so it looks like that. All we have to do is kind of make it fit. And in this case, there is transparency in order to have it be behind the overlay, but you don't really need to because, you know, it's black on black. All right. So if you would like to size up the chat and customize the chat, you should know this, but just double click on it. And then all the options are on the left here. For example, a font setting. If you want it to be smaller, you can do that here. Okay. So now it's smaller. Good. Good. Now, technically, your intermission screen is done. We will come back a little later on in order to add what's called the low bar or the labels bar, or basically most recent follower, most recent subscriber, and all of that. Okay. Oh, I actually accidentally moved that. All right. So if you know that something is not going to move ever again, you need to lock it. Like my webcam is placed. I don't think I'm ever going to move it again. That's good. If you want to move it, just unlock it. Okay. Obviously here, there's some space on the top and the bottom for you to be able to, you can type whatever you want. In order to type stuff, you need to add a text source, type your name, choose the font and all of that. Okay. But we'll come back to this maybe later. What is missing? The game scene. If you're playing a game, like you need a game scene with your camera overlay and all of that. Okay. So let's add a new scene. Call it game scene. Right. So the first thing that you usually want to add in a game scene is your game capture, right? So you'll go here and find game capture. Okay. Add source. I don't have any games running right now, but I'm just going to add it. All right. So you can see what's going on. Boom. That's fine. Streamlabs has this automatic visual. If it's not finding a game, completely fine. Now, second thing that you want to add is your camera. So we're going to go to video capture device again, and you can add the webcam. If it's already there, you can already add it. So you just click on a webcam here, add source, boom, your source is there. And I have to recrop it, have it here, and keep it there for now. Now we're going to import the camera overlay. So click plus. Now again, if you want the animated webcam overlay, because in the pack you are provided with the option to get them animated or static, basically. So image for static, and animated is going to be media source because it's a video. It's a WebM file because it has transparency. So new source, webcam overlay. We'll call this cam overlay, add source. Now, here's another thing with this pack is that I give you two options when it comes to the camera overlay. You can either get one that is wide. That means that if you have like your full 1080p camera going on and it's widescreen, you can use that. So it would look like that. They are, don't forget to loop. They are full HD, right? Or if you want to use a more narrower webcam, there's also an option for webcam overlay narrow. All right. So this one is more of a squarish look. Let's go with the squarish look. Let's click done and let's size it up. Okay, so if you're playing a game, your webcam will be something like that. Let's lock the game capture. As I showed you, you don't want that to move. So let's lock it down. Let's click on that, maybe a little bigger. There we go. Obviously, you will be the one to play around with this. Okay, so as you can see here, my webcam overlay is on top of my webcam, so that's already great. So all I have to do is move it and then crop it to make it fit. Keep in mind that, for example, if I want the emphasis to be just on my face, I can just scale this up and then crop this, right? I don't need to fit all of the contents of my webcam in there. Remember, in order to crop, you hold Alt, drag the sides, boom. And you go, you have a webcam overlay. Now, the problem is they are not linked right now. If I decide to move something, it's going to move it. All right. Can I control Z on this? Yes. Cool. Now I'm going to select both of them. I'm going to click here, hold control, click the webcam, and then group it up. You will see a group, a folder thing here. Webcam folder. Boom. There you go. So now if you want to move it and you select the webcam folder, it'll move it together. Okay. And if you want to modify anything, you can just go there and do it. All right. Cool. This is your game scene. Now there's one thing that is not there yet. It's the labels bar. So when you want to show your most recent follower and stuff like that, let's do that in a separate scene. We don't have to do it in a separate scene, but I enjoy doing it in a separate scene because it's easier for me to import it to other scenes, basically. Okay, so let's create this and call it labels. All right. So labels, and here we have an image. Okay, this one is not animated because there was no point for it, but you have different options. Let's go here. Let's go back to images and labels bar. So I'm going to show you all the options that you have. So first option is subscriber, cheerer, donator, right? This is for Twitch affiliates or Twitch partners. Second option you're going to have is follower, donator, top donator. This is for non-affiliates. So if you're not affiliate yet, obviously you're not going to have subscribers. You're not going to have cheerers. I got you, boo-boo. And then, of course, if you're like on Mixer or whatever, there's a blank one. So you can put whatever you want. Okay. We're going to go with the first option because it's the most common. I'm going to click done here, and then I'm going to put this in a corner for now. And I'm going to add the, most recent subscriber, most recent cheerer, most recent donator. This is the part where I'm going to show you how to scroll that stuff and how to add it fast, basically. I don't want that to move, so I'm going to lock it down. I'm going to click the plus, okay, new source, and I'm going to add stream label. Because that's what it is. See, like, most recent this, most recent that. We're going to call that recent subscriber, recent sub. Okay. Now we're going to find our most recent subscriber. There are little subsections here. We're going to find subscriber here, most recent subscriber. Boom. Now, on top of choosing which label that you want, you can also choose the font family, basically the font. If you read the product description before buying it, which I hope you did as a normal functioning adult or just teenager, I don't know, you can use whatever font you want, but you can also use the specific font that I use for this pack, which is SF Movie Poster. I'm just going to type it SF and I should find it right there. Okay. Now, a little tip that I will give you for anything that has to do with text in broadcasting software, always make it big and then scale it down, okay? Because if you do the opposite, then this is the quality you're gonna get. And if you try to scale that up, well, it already looks like that. So font size, make it big, And if you have to scroll it down, then just scroll it down. All right, so this should be done. We're gonna do now, actually, I'm gonna scale this up, unlock it, scale it up a bit just so I can see what I'm doing. And in here, I'm just gonna place this. All right. Now this font is kind of small, but that should be completely fine. You should be able to read it. Okay, so now we have our most recent subscriber. We're gonna make the text roll. We're gonna right click on it, click filters, click the plus to add a new filter, and then drop down menu, click scroll. That easy. And now you can give it a speed. Easy clap. Now here's the thing. If the width is not something you like, or if you want, like, you absolutely need to put limit width so that if someone has a bigger name, it doesn't go all the way like everywhere. Okay. So from there, what you want to do is test the width until you find something that is acceptable or within the width that you want. In this case, something like 270 maybe seems to be perfect. We're going to slow it down because if anything is moving too much in your overlay, it might be very distracting. So I think 22 is fine. That's all good. Okay, boom. Now, obviously there was a lot of steps in order to make this happen, and we don't want to go through all those steps over and over again. So instead of just recreating, adding a label, and finding how to make it the exact same size, I'm going to click on this, right click, and then click copy. All right. And then I'm going to right click again, and I'm going to paste duplicate. Make sure that you paste duplicate. Don't Control V. Paste duplicate, because it will create a whole different source if you do that. If you go reference, it'll be the same source. You don't want the same source. So paste duplicate. The only thing we'll have to really change is going to be the name and, of course, like the specific label. Double click on that new one, and we know that the next one is going to be top cheerer, right? Or most recent cheer. So most recent cheerer here. Okay. My boy C Gamer. And you'll see that it actually doesn't have the filter yet. So I'm going to use my keyboard to scroll it down because I know that the left and right position is already good. And I did the wrong one. Let me select the right one, and then I'm gonna hold down on my keyboard. There you go. I'm gonna make this a wee smaller just for the numbers to show. Okay, now this is top cheerer. So we're gonna right click on it, rename it to recent cheerer. I keep saying top cheerer. All right. And before we add the effect, we're actually gonna duplicate again. So I'm gonna right click here, paste duplicate. Double click. We know that the next one is going to be most recent donator. Most recent donor here. Okay. All right. And I'm going to hold the down arrow on my keyboard. Boom. And adjust that a little bit. The numbers are super huge in this font. That's fine. There we go. We're going to rename this to recent donor. All right. Of course, we want to add the roll to the scroll effect to everyone. So every one of them. So I'm going to right click the one that has it, and I'm going to click copy filters. Okay. Then I'm going to click recent cheerer, paste filters, recent donator, paste filters. All right, just because I scaled them a little bit, I scaled the first one a little bit, my width is going to be a little off. So I'm just going to correct that real quick, just by going to filters and then playing around with the width. All right, that should be good. All right, to be honest, I'm not really satisfied with the font. So I'm going to go ahead and change it into something that is way more readable. Double click and then font family. All right, so I went with Calibri, which seems to be a way more readable font. So we're going to keep it there. Now, here's the thing. This is how you will add it to other scenes. For example, if I go to my game scene, right? I want to add it. All I have to do is click add source, go to scene because it is a separate scene. And then I will have to choose it. Okay, so labels right there, click add source. Now it is a full screen scene. So you will have to crop it if you don't want to have to mess around with all that empty space. So I'm holding Alt again. And from there, you can place it wherever you want. You can also resize it without losing any of the proportions, right? Just like that. You can place it underneath your webcam if you want to. You can put it there. You can put it in the middle top, middle bottom. I kind of like the middle here. Just as an example, I'm going to show you, I'm going to put like some gameplay footage, right? I'm just going to add like a gameplay video to show you how it would actually work. All right, let's put that on top of the game capture. And there you go. So this is what your game would look like. This is what your game screen would look like. Now let's go to the intermission and we're going to add it just like that. Oh, a quick tip for chat. If you don't want your chat to disappear every time you come back to a certain scene, you need to double click on the chat box and then there will be an option in source, I believe, right there. Shut down source when not visible. So now if you type anything in chat and then you switch scenes, it will stay there. Okay. Now again, let's add our scene, which is the labels. Add it. Boom, boom. Again, remember about the cropping since it's a full screen thing, right? Supposed to place it somewhere over there. Okay, there you go. And it's here. Technically, you can add it to your starting soon, your be right back and everything. Oh, I think I messed up here. Let me put that back to starting soon. There we go. Starting soon, be right back, stream ending, intermission, game scene. And those are your main scenes. Okay, now to put things in order, I'm going to put the intermission underneath the starting soon, okay, by clicking and dragging. I'm going to put the game scene after intermission because it's usually in that order. Your streaming is starting soon, intermission, and then you're playing that game, and then you're taking a break. You can go back to the game, and then it's the end of the stream, okay? All right, now let's go over the colors, all right? I understand that some of you may not want to have it be blue. Maybe you have a preferred color, you know? We will go to filters, add filter, and in the drop-down menu, select color correction, okay? And in color correction, all you have to do is play with the hue shift, and you can have it any color you want. So any overlay, any source that has the color blue, you can change it to whatever color you have. In order to make it even easier for you, wait, you can even bump up the saturation if you want it to be extra saturated. Let's put it green, for example. In order to make it even easier for you, what you can do is go ahead and right click here, click copy filters, and then go on the intermission overlay, for example, and then right click on it, click paste filters, and then you have the exact same filter at the exact same value, right? Okay, so I'm going to delete that because I don't want that to be in the final file. And there's one last thing that I want to show you how to do is how to add the transition, because this overlay pack comes with transitions. So click on that little cog wheel on top of the scene list, and then here, global transition. Depending on what type of transition you want, this time we're going to add it to our global transition. So that same transition is going to play over every scene transition, basically. In a drop-down menu underneath type, you're going to find Stinger. And you're going to go browse and find the transition. Now, as you can see, there are many transitions in this pack. They're just different colors. Okay, so transition is the basic one. If you like the basic light blue, that's what you would use. The transition length is something around 2000 milliseconds. Okay, so you can put 2000, but depending on your computer, you might have to play around with those values. Okay, keep that in mind. So I'm going to put transition point, which is exactly where you want the scene to switch, 1000, which is in the middle of that transition, right? And then click done, and we should have a transition now. And there it is. Now, when you switch in between your scenes, there will be that cool little transition that plays. There you go. It is 60 FPS. Everything in the pack is really 60 FPS. So technically, this should be it. All you want to do is add your alerts on the scenes where you want your alerts to show. I will be making a video on how to set up your alerts separately because I don't feel like this is necessary and I don't want this video to be long enough. This video was focused on how to set up your scenes and your sources. All your scenes and your sources are set. A question that I get often, because we were talking about the colors, is how do I change the sting or transition color? Technically, you can't. You can't do it within Streamlabs OBS or OBS Studio. Okay, this is why I provide all the different colors of transition within the pack, so that you don't have to want to change the color of the transitions. As you can see here, there's a darker blue, there's green, orange, pink, purple, red, white, and yellow. So technically there should be something for everyone in there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This is how you can set up your overlays from scratch in Streamlabs OBS, granted that you already have an overlay pack or you already have your designs made. In this case, we use the futuristic pack from gumroad.com/getlevel. Give it a look. It's nothing expensive. You can check out my other packs. Just make sure that you read the description and you understand what you're buying first. Those are image files and video files. Something that I forgot to mention is that I also include a background image and background animation for many of the things inside this pack. For example, if you speak a different language, there will be a background animation. So it's like the starting soon, but without the text. So you can add your own text within Streamlabs OBS. Just add a text source, type whatever starting soon is in your language, and boom, you got it. Same thing for the panels, for example. You will have all the panels, but there's also a blank one in case you want to add your own. But as I said before, since we created this, I'm going to have a .overlay file. All you will have to do if you buy the pack is import the .overlay file, and everything that I did in this video will already be magically happening on your screen in Streamlabs OBS. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Please check out gumroad.com/getlevel. I've said it so many times, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Go out there, make me proud. Get level out.